Welcome to Money Buys Freedom podcast, episode number 52. We have real estate investor, real estate agent, wholesaler.
Not an agent.
Oh, you're not an agent. Didn't you have a team though?
I used to.
Okay, you used to. Okay, I got you. And then just all around entrepreneur, 120 units.
121, yeah.
121. Okay. I'm really interested in hearing about your story, especially getting into sub 2 and seller finance. I know you're killing that aspect.
Thank you.
But what really drawed you into real estate? Did you read Rich Dad Poor Dad? That's like a 90%.
Yeah. I definitely read that. I always wanted to do business.
Mm-hmm.
Was doing business since I was in middle school, like just selling stuff to my friends. And I always enjoyed it. Like I always enjoyed closing deals. That was like my, kind of happiness. I like closing deals. But I didn't always have the opportunity to get into real estate or know about real estate. So I was doing all these other side hustles while I was in college or working jobs. And I heard about wholesaling and just learned about it briefly, started putting Band-Aid signs out, and went on a couple of appointments, really didn't know what I was doing, paid a couple of mentors, and slowly I started kind of building from there.
What mentorship did you join?
It wasn't like a program. I used to find local guys that they were killing it and just talk to them. What I really like to do, I like to pay for people's time. So I always offered payments for their time. And I used to take everybody out, let's have coffee, let's have lunch. And I talk to a lot of people. I still do that to this day. Anytime I have any questions about business, I always reach out and, ask questions. And the way that I got into it was I started kind of playing around with wholesaling. Didn't really understand it, lost a few deals. But when I got my real estate license, I kind of understood real estate more because I started only working with investors and only working on investment properties. That was my passion, yeah.
So that was the originally thing, the wholesaling. What was your first step on wholesaling? Was it just reaching out like organically or like sending direct mail, like
door knocking?
Oh,
heavily, yes.
That's got it. Was that nerve wracking? Like, because that's what Mark Cuban always says. He says, if you can sell door to door, you can sell anything.
100%. I mean, I had a jewelry business in Lynn Haven Mall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and so that was your original like entrepreneur.
Yeah.
What started that?
Again, always we're looking to start a business. I mean, I had a e-cigarette business. I had a t-shirt business. I had a bunch of businesses, and the last one before real estate was a jewelry shop. Lost a whole bunch of money. And it used to take a lot of our time, 9 a.m., 9 p.m. every day. So it wasn't worth it. But in between my time, I used to go door knock houses and study for my real estate license. And that door knocking really helped me kind of understand the foreclosure and short sale side of business, and then how to handle that side when people are behind on their payment or people are losing their houses. And just kind of, I always enjoy helping others going through a situation.
Yeah.
And wholesaling really fit that, picture, a vision that I see myself doing, because doing a business is not always about money for me. And that just really helped me kind of start with that right there.
So door knocking specifically, I know personally this might be a little messed up, but if I see someone walk into my house that's about to get door knock, I obviously run inside real quick and just pretend like you're not home. So like what? And obviously, if they're going through like pre-foreclosure, they're probably a little upset. So how you handle that from the start? I mean, brand new into real estate, that's got to be like not the easiest thing. You probably weren't welcomed all the time.
Yeah. So for me is we shifted our mindset about hearing no's. Since we grew up, we always like talk about no means stop, right?
No means step, like a step.
Stop. Like if you're a little kid, you're doing something wrong, your parents tell you like, no, don't do that. That just automatically means stop doing that. So the no's from door knocking did not stop me because we were running, basically the way that I was thinking about business is a numbers game. 200 door knocks, one deal, $7,000. That means $35 per no. So that no just meant go to the next house. Now we had a lot of people hiding behind the door, looking through the window, or just get upset or not open the door. And we would leave all these notes at the door saying, call me back, with no name, just phone number.
Yeah.
And we used to get a lot of callbacks. And then other thing we used to do was just leave FedEx packages at the door, because most of the time skip tracing leads for pre-foreclosures is not always the best way, or sending them letters, because they get letters from creditors, they get letters from attorneys and all the other stuff. So door knocking, and we used to always go there with the intention to help them, so we wouldn't just make it a sales conversation. And also pre-foreclosures, they have the highest motivation, so it's always easier to learn working with the people they're ready to sell, or they're ready to take some type of action, and they're in the most they have the most motive to get rid of the house or find a solution for their situation.
Is there a way to where, like, when you're first talking to a homeowner door knocking, that you're trying to like almost present like you're on their side, like we're here to help? That probably like gap is not the easiest thing to close. How do you show the homeowner like, hey, I'm actually I just want to help. I just want to hear your story. How can I help? Kind of thing. How do you show that sympathy that you can? That you're there.
Personally, I'm not really a people person.
Mm-hmm.
Just knowing myself, I had to study just basically human emotions to be able to close a sale. So for me, getting into a conversation with a seller, it has an A to Z structure. It's not that I'm just getting on the phone hoping to get lucky and close a deal, or just sit down and have a 2-hour conversation. It gets me bored, right? So what we did is we designed a structure conversation with the sellers, objection handling, and just those pain points and everything else, and just kind of helped
us. Like Grant Cardone to a T. Like, hey, you say this, you do this, you do this, do this.
Exactly. So for us was knowing exactly what to tell them, handling their objections, and being a trusted advisor instead of being a salesperson.
Gotcha.
Right. So, and when you're working with this type of sellers, I always tell my team too, like, we're going in this to help these people out with integrity, right? So I don't go in there and give people cash offers. I don't go in there and give people subject to. I give people options. I'm going to be the guy that give them all their options. And no matter which one they pick, no matter if we make money on that option or we don't, we're going to help them out. And
so you basically say, hey, I could take it to market, I could buy it on terms, or hey, I could do a cash offer.
Yes.
And you choose one.
We give them everything by details. One thing we do on every appointment is, I don't want them to talk to us and the next day they call an agent and ask for advice on listing, or talk to a guy who does only creative, or talk to a guy who's only a wholesaler, or talk to a guy who's only a cash buyer.
Yeah.
I go in there as an investor. I haven't taken any appointments over the last 2 years, but the way my team works, my acquisition manager goes on the appointment. We give them options. Hey, cash offer, 21 days, 10 to 21 days closing. Listing will get you this much, 60 to 90 days. Then we can send a referral to an agent. And we do creative term. This is how the term works. Or if you want to do short sale, this is how long it's going to take. These are the benefits. These are what you're going to put into it, stuff like that. So really
just to backtrack, I know because you're already at the team stage. So after you did, let's say you closed a couple deals wholesaling, what was that initial next step to like help you grow that team? Like, what did you do after you got a couple of cash wholesale deals? What was your initial step? Hey, I'm gonna buy a long term now. Hey, I'm gonna actually build out this business so I can scale.
I'll tell you this. Right now, in this point in my life, the most valuable things in my life right now are wealth, freedom, family, and fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
I made a lot of money wholesaling houses when I started. Just imagine coming from making 5 figures to multiple 6 figures. I don't know, it was like 21, 22. So it was, but it came with a lot of hectic lifestyle, a lot of stress.
Yeah.
From 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Right. Then I looked into my life. I realized I'm not happy. I mean, I have a lot of money, but I wasn't happy. I had to work and work and work, always be on a treadmill. So I had to take a step back, design a life that comes with wealth and freedom, health and family, and fulfillment. Because no matter how much money you make, if you're not happy, if you don't have a good family, if you don't have freedom, if you cannot decide how to spend your time, it's not worth it. So buying rentals came with how can we exit the system, the cycles, and just having a life that runs of I have to pay this bill, I have to worry about this, worry about that. So
Yeah.
how can I design a life that I can get out of that and do it right and do it with a lot of equity, do it with a lot of cash flow, purchase at the right price. And we had a 5 years plan.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the first year after that 5 years plan ended. So we were completely financially free right now with our cash flow being almost 5 times of our life expenses. So that was really motive behind everything, because being an agent, working for investors, or doing wholesaling was extremely exhausting, right?
Yeah.
So I decided to just go to the buy and hold while keep an active income, so I can fund the buy and hold, so I don't have to over leverage myself. No, just 100% financing type of deals, because you'll be over leveraged, and it's really hard to find those really, really good deals. So
Yeah.
I started buying properties like with 25% to 35% down payment. Starting last year, we started paying off properties so we can just have more equity.
Yeah.
Not I know you can always scale. I know you can always buy 1,000 units, doing syndications, bringing a bunch of people and 40, 50 people, put them all together. And I'm not looking to run a business.
So you're more like I like the Dave Ramsey style, pay off all the debt, live financially free, rather than the whole Grant Cardone, I'm going to have like a $1 billion of debt.
Yeah. I want to have high income, and I want to do it in a really short time, but I want to use a lot of my own money or buy deals that by the time I'm getting out of the deal, we have only 50% debt. And I do not want to go over 50%.
That's really good. And one thing you actually mentioned that me and Kate talked about last episode is I said I went to basically an investors conference in Vegas, and Sean Whalen from Alliance Not Cheap was talking. He said he was miserable at one time where he was just all obsessed about money. That's the only thing he cared about: generational wealth, generational wealth, generational wealth. And then he stopped back and thought about it. He said, and I could totally butcher what he was exactly saying, but generational wealth, like why do I care what my kids do with my money? That's not really what's important. It's like what's right now, my well-being, my kids, what I have right now is most important. And that's what you kind of mentioned. I like the similarities, like that you realize that it's such like at the beginning that, hey, this is what's important.
Yeah, 100%.
So what, like, was there like a one day switch where you just got so stressed, you're like, hey, this isn't worth it. Like, I don't even have time to enjoy this. Like,
this happened. I was about 1.5 years, 2 years in the business. My company was doing 7 figures. We were a little bit over $1 million, but we had $900,000 in overhead.
Yeah. Oh wow.
So I was making $200K, but I was working 80 hours, 70 hours, whatever the time was. I was working a lot. So right now, and that was the moment I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to take calls at 11 p.m. I don't want to I don't want to have a lot of responsibilities. Not that I'm running away from them, but some people running a business, they just create more for themselves. And those more problems you create for yourself, you get stuck in a cycle. You kind of solve a problem, you create a new one, solve a problem, you create a new one. For me, it was like, I want to design that 5 years of kind of pushing really hard and just have an exit. So right now my business is completely running on hiring other businesses to do the work.
I gotcha.
I'm not a business owner. I'm just an investor, and I'm not a wholesaler. So what I focus on is financial freedom. And yes, I could have a lot more marketing running. Yes, I could have a bunch more people in the office. I could have all that stuff, but that's not what I choose to have.
Yeah.
I want to be completely free. I want to take the whole Tuesday off. I want to be Wednesday camping and Thursday doing something else while my phone doesn't ring at all.
So what inspired you to work this hard at such a young age? Most people are like drinking or partying in their low 20s. Like, what inspired you? Like, hey, I want this. Like, it sounds like so you have something bigger than yourself that you're really trying to.
Well, believe it or not, I had a really fun early 20s, and we traveled, we had our parties, we did everything in our early 20s, right? The only thing kind of helped me was I would go ahead and party all day, but the next day at 8 a.m. I'll be at work.
Okay.
While everybody takes their time and just take their hungover day off, I was on a mission because we designed it. Yes, we designed it. We had plans. We had to hit our numbers, and we are. I'm a big believer of having fun in life, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like 100% work, money. Nope. Had a lot of fun, traveled a lot, and at the same time worked a lot and kind of leveraged different systems and different people, and to be able to do it all at once, so we don't regret, hey, we didn't do anything in our 20s, or also we don't regret that hey, we never did any work in our early 20s, so now we have to go really hard in late 20s or 30s.
I gotcha. So if you're not really necessarily wholesaling, like what's your marketing strategy of getting these ideal like long-term investments?
Right now we do market, we do cold call, we do send letters, we do drive for dollar, the only thing we stopped doing is text right now, just for time being. We do it all. My team does a lot of these things, but one thing we started really focusing on is targeted leads. Everybody's fighting over the PPCs. That's what's left. Everybody's fighting over the same leads and over nationally. There's big wholesalers nationally wholesaling.
Yeah.
Everybody has 10, 20 VAs calling. So while they're all distracted by that big pie of leads that they running leads, marketing to, we focus on really targeted small leads. We choose properties and we stick to them for a long time.
So you narrow your focus, like, hey, this is exactly what I'm looking for. And you don't have to give exactly, because you only give everyone all your strategies. But it's like, how did you find your ideal property?
The ideal property for me is, I told you earlier, as I was like, I'm extremely careful and conservative when it comes to buying or borrowing money. There's people out there offering 14, 15% on private money. I'm running at 5 to 7%, maybe 8%, depending on the risk involved in the deal. And when it comes to buying criteria, by the time I want to be finished with the property, obviously we're looking for value add deals. I want to be at 50% equity, and it needs to cash flow really well. As of right now, I'm not buying anything for rest of the year. But giving you an example, just because you
hit your goal, or
just because I want to take some time off.
Oh, okay, I got
just
you.
like, hey, just not do anything for a little while, just chill a little bit, and then we'll get back to it. Like, I bought my fourplexes, and I was talking to a friend of mine. He's very successful at like 25. And I told him the fourplexes that people are paying $450 right now, a year and a half ago, I was buying all of them for $200, $225 max.
Yeah,
right?
price is crazy right now.
Well, it was crazy then too, but
Yeah, it was.
we weren't just paying crazy money for them. That's what, like, we being an investor is a lot about controlling your emotions, and you make money when you buy. So we controlled our emotions on buying deals. So the 24 unit I bought in Norfolk, we bought it for 1.65. Increased the NOI, now worth over $3 million, right?
Yeah.
So by that time, the seller was getting off some crazy offers then, but we followed up with the seller for 3 years. I took them to dinner at least once a quarter. Right?
That's crazy. That's nice.
Yeah. So she had cancer. I was there. She was running a dentistry, and she had a daycare. I used to show up there checking on her. So we really go after this leads that there's a lot
Did
of
she appreciate that, or like, dude, just go away?
No, she had offers at 2.2 million when she gave us the property at 1.65.
Oh wow.
Then I had another 10 unit in Norfolk by Dudley Avenue, and this lady, she inherited it from her husband, and her sister used to live in this house. We built a really good relationship with them, and her husband actually built that 10 unit in 1978.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I bought that 10 unit for like 900K. At the same time, she did an appraisal, and like they're worth like $1.4 million, because we were buying 90,000 a unit for a not full remodel, but the units that they are moving ready, LVP, cabinets, water heaters, new. It's really good in Ocean View.
Yeah.
Because right now people paying up to like $150,000 to $200,000.
So what, like, I know you've been getting crazy deals, but do you have like a certain spread that you're looking for? Like, hey, most people, like if you talk to one of our big wholesaler friends that we were mentioned earlier, he would say, oh, are you at 25% return cash on cash? What are you looking for?
I simplify things for myself, right? Yeah. I don't do KPIs in my business. Yes, I always look for return on investment and return on time invested in a deal.
Yeah.
And yes, we run the numbers. We make sure we cash flow. We make sure we have a good cash on cash return. And we make sure we have a good exit with the building no matter what. But I don't put my numbers in like a bunch of different spreadsheets and run it down to penny. A good deal is a good deal.
Yeah, I agree.
As a seasoned investor, you can tell a good deal is a good deal. You can tell the rents are running $550 and Ocean View is $1,100.
Yeah.
And if you're buying it at $550 rent, you know your offer is going to be lower than what you're going to be getting it when you increase your NOI.
I agree.
So it's not rocket science. I don't need a spreadsheet to tell me that, hey, I can get this much for the property when I sell it, because commercial buildings, it's treated as business. So I can get that business to generate more income. I'm going to get more money for it.
Yeah, I agree. Interesting. That's very perspective, because I feel like a lot of people try to overcomplicate things, and you're like, hey, just forget all that. Just make it simple. You buy from this, you can sell it for this, and kind of making it simple things. I like that.
Yeah. Again, having a structure, it's very important. We do have a solid structure when it comes to buying criteria. Well, we're not overcomplicating it, as you said, and it helps out. It helps the sellers, it helps us, and it helps our investors that, just having more fun with it. I mean, this is more of a passion than just trying to treat it as like business.
Yeah.
Like, you have to run all these numbers on all this stuff, which is against what a lot of people say. But I'm doing this to have fun. I'm doing this to be financially free, and I'm doing this the right way to make money and stay in the long term. That's why we go 50% equity on our deals.
Okay. So, when, like, I know because we mentioned earlier, you do some seller finance and stuff too. I know you don't like LTV over like 50%. So where does that come from when you like do a sub 2 or seller finance? Because usually, at least from my experience, for like sub 2 and seller finance, usually a lot of times you don't have equity or they're upside down. Like, how does that play into that specific strategy that you have?
I was actually looking at one of our properties we bought on sub 2 from 2021. I bought that property for $135. Now they're selling at $265. It was a townhouse in a really, really, really good area. Back in time, I was looking for equity and cash flow. right now, a 2% interest rate worth a lot more than equity, a lot more than cash flow.
It's like gold.
Yes. So if I can get a 2.2% loan on a property that I know the ARV is 350 and I'm getting it at 300, just because the market has shifted slightly. We had a correction, prices dropped like 5 to 10%. And I know at some point that money is going to go back up, but my payments are $1,200 or $1,300, and market rent still is $2,000, $2,200. So yes, I will. Right now in this market, we've adjusted our buying criteria to sacrifice a little bit of equity that we're always looking for. In exchange, we're getting the low interest rate. However, we still have to have an exit because we can't trust to sit in this sub 2 deals for too long, unless it's an owner finance deal that we stay locked longer. But sub 2s, we're trying to get out as soon as possible. So yes, we do.
So I want to touch on that. So for anyone that doesn't know, like, could you explain what sub 2 is and why you want to exit earlier?
So sub 2s are buying properties subject to existing loan.
Yeah.
And the only reason an investor would buy those properties are, the reason is higher cash on cash return.
Yeah.
I use commercial loans to buy my property, so I'm putting 25% down. However, if I find someone on pre-foreclosure that is ready to go, I can buy a property $2,500. The last property that we bought on sub 2, actually I gave the seller zero money and paid $2,500 in fees. And that property now cash flowing $700 a month. Now you buy this property subject to existing loan. The risk is for the seller that the mortgage is a personal, they're the personal guarantee on this mortgage, right? And so their name still is
attached to their credit, still attached.
Yes. So that's very important. And some people don't set the expectation that, hey, I'm going to hold your note for 12 months or 24 months. So this seller could be calling you from, but I don't want to do 30 years because you never know what happened. You never know what they do. They could become a liability. They could call the bank and explain things to the bank.
Yeah, but don't you have like something in the contract that says like you can't do that kind of thing? Or like I know some sub 2 people have that. Like, hey, if you do, there's like a $50,000 fine or some crap like that.
You can say all that, but if the bank in this, we're talking about this houses that they're now selling on this current market. If it was like 3 years ago and I was doing a sub 2, I would say, well, by the time the bank sends the note and we respond to them in letter, it's going to take about a couple of months, and I can throw the property on the market and sell it. But the reason these people are doing this type of sub 2 deals from the beginning is they're not able to sell it in this market.
Yeah.
Right, in most cases. So we kind of set some expectations. We do not give them access to the mortgage account at all. And then setting that expectation is very important, but I can't hold them too long because I don't know what's going to happen in their life that could cause they do something crazy.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So when you take over a sub 2 deal, it's just specifically, is there anything you do for like, like a big thing a bank could do to call on is if they take the insurance off? Is there things that you do like, hey, we're going to put our own insurance on top of their insurance? Like, how does that?
We ask them to add us as a beneficiary on their insurance. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one thing we do, and then we'll always have a renter's insurance on the property.
Gotcha. Okay. And what would be like for a seller financing option? Can you give an example like what deal you did for seller financing? Because a lot of people don't understand, especially sellers, understand that aspect either.
I was actually explaining this to a seller. We did a seller financing with really, really good deal. We got the deal at 2.75% in Virginia Beach for $195,000, and then Rapid for somebody else at $275,000. Our payments are $1,160 a month. We gave it somebody else at $2,258. So
you did sub 2 and then you wrapped it seller financing, and then
we did owner financing and Rapid did a rent to own for someone.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah.
So I was explaining this with subject twos, the deed transfers, the mortgage stays under their name. With owner financing, they become the bank. We still getting the deed. We make payments to them, and it's on amortization schedule. They earn interest, and we got principal, taxes, and we do the insurance, right? And then it works with a lot of tile landlords or paid off properties, because if there's not a paid off property, then you have to do a wraparound mortgage.
Yeah.
But if it's a paid off property, simple deed of trust gets recorded. They'll be the bank. We'll make payments to them. We create amortization schedule, and usually we have a balloon payment within 3 to 5 years.
So do you talk to the tile company or whatnot, building the amortization schedule, or how does that work?
In most cases, like the last deal, we closed one less than a month ago, and our title company, yes, that prepared that deed of trust, also prepared the seller to show the seller that, hey, this is going to be how much you're going to get in 3 years when they refinance or pay it off. Another thing I forgot to mention, I will never buy a property on subject to on owner finance if I cannot afford to buy it in cash. So I always buy within that price range. That if
so you
anything,
want to buy like $100,000 to $300,000 range ish, because if they call the loan, but once you can shoot, if the bank calls a loan, you can transfer it back to them and like a lease option. I've heard crazy strategies.
I've never been through it, but one thing I show the seller to feel confident, with them to feel confident that, hey, we're qualified buyers, we're not wasting your time, is we show them a bank statement saying, hey, I can actually buy this cash, but we're doing this because your price is high, you owe too much. If you want me to buy cash, why don't you do a short sale, or you do this, do that, so we can negotiate the loan balance down. But that just gives them an extra confidence to work with us compared to other offers you're getting.
Yeah.
Because we actually can fully afford, for anything goes wrong, for them to for us to go ahead and pay the loan balance off.
Have you ever had the bank call the loan yet?
No.
Me neither.
We had a scenario that happened for asset protection reasons. We had to move some LLCs around with a get some LLCs registered in Wyoming or some other states. We had an attorney in California doing this for us. And our bank that I have a really good relationship with, and they call in like, hey, what's going on? We financed you under 123 LLC. Now it shows some unknown LLC in Wyoming.
Because they want a name attached to it, kind of.
Yeah, so you're not allowed to do that. We're going to call the loans due.
Oh my gracious.
But then, because of the relationship with the bankers, and, we figured it out. We explained to them, hey, we're doing equity stripping. We're doing asset protection just to protect our portfolio from any unknown things that could happen.
Couldn't you just tell them, like, hey, we were putting it in a trust? Like, what do you want me to do?
They don't. Without their approval, local banks, local small credit unions, they don't do loan assumptions, most of them that I work with. And they don't really allow you to do all that crazy stuff without their permission.
I do a lot of credit unions too. I know they're can be a little
very
annoying sometimes.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess they have their own business model, so that is what it is. But so do you find that well, because obviously for seller financing, it also helps the seller's aspect of it for like tax purposes, because they don't have to pay large capital gains. That's at least what I think. I listened to Pace Morby. He said most people do sub 2 out of pain, and a lot of people do seller finance out of greed, because you get a lot of gain when you do seller financing, because you get interest. You probably, after all the interest, then you might make double what you normally would. So that'd be one of the things that he does.
Yeah, we break down each type of prospect, and then we have exactly what we're going to offer them based on what we know is going to be the pain point with tile landlords or paid off properties, or people with high equities, or people who are in a sub 2 kind of situation that we could offer. They all have their own little situations that kind of bring up the pain point, bring up the solution, and repeat that over and over and over again until we close the deal.
So what would be, like, we're all looking at the market and like, man, these prices are crazy. It's really hard to find really good deals. So are you sourcing them on PropStream? You narrow down to like 5 or 6 deals. Hey, I'm going to go deep on all these deals. reach out to the owner, send them coffee bags, do all this thing. Like, is that kind of how like you? Because it's really hard to find really good deals, but I follow you on social media, and it seems like you find a lot of great deals.
Yeah, I think with me is we built a reputation for my company that we can close deals.
Yeah.
And we leverage that reputation with agents, wholesalers, or other investors. And that kind of has been a good source for us to get good deals.
Yeah.
Right, because some wholesalers or some agents, they could have higher offers and they could just send it to us because they know we're going to get the deal done. But yes, we narrowed down our list a lot, not to 5 properties, but there's a lot of properties down here, and we look in Florida, we're looking in Midwest, and we target those properties and we go 100%.
So, like you just mentioned, you're in multiple states. So, what states are you in now, and what states you want to go to?
Right now, we're in Georgia, Columbus, Georgia, if I'm not mistaken, Jackson, Mississippi. What's the other city in Alabama?
No, you obviously here, obviously Virginia.
Yeah, we're here, and then I'm in northern part of west and northern part of Florida. So Destin, Panama City, Pensacola. We got a deal today somewhere in the middle too on owner financing. And
so how did you find that one?
Just finding deals through social media, through MLS, FISBOs, pulling leads, calling agents, anything you can imagine. We target this specific area, specific criteria, and we hit it. Right now, we have 3 properties in, I forgot where, but we have 3 properties in Midwest on the contract. All 3, 2 of them are full remodeled for $47,000, and each one rents out for $600 to $650.
Oh, nice.
We got one in Jackson, Mississippi.
So, what made you choose that market? Obviously, what market was this?
Just I don't remember. The last one was somewhere in Alabama.
Okay, so what made you find, hey, I want to go to Alabama and
higher cash and cash return?
Okay.
So,
did you look at median home price? Where did you find that?
Giving you a main reason why we're in that market right now is
because I'm trying to get into different markets also.
Sure.
I'm trying to figure out what market, because I've heard Augusta, Georgia. I heard places in Alabama, Mississippi. It's just
there's unlimited opportunities. I've built big times on equity over the years, as I mentioned. So we've been like paying off loans, taking all the cash flow, paying off loans as quick as we can to stay under that 50% debt, right?
Yeah.
So now, over the last year of our exit strategy was we're going to focus on really increasing our cash flow. So we're going to let that equity grow, right? We're going to take advantage of depreciation over the years. And our goal is $25 million, just not asset under management, real estate owned. So these are the stuff that we own personally, not like having a acquisition company managing asset for like, this pool of investors. So now with that $25 million at 4 or 5% appreciation per year, example, your net worth is growing about $1 million a year, and you're getting $400,000 or $500,000 loan pay down depending on the age of your loan. And that was really our goal. So we're trying to hit that goal, but we focused a lot on equity. Now we're really just a lot of our value add properties are paying off right now. And we thought, so we can use the cash instead of aggressively paying down loans or buying more assets. We're just going to go ahead and invest in areas where I can buy a $30,000 house or $50,000 house and put it on Section 8 or do rent to own with someone and get $1,200, $1,500 estimated and have a really, really good cash flow. So now it's more like I cherry pick the properties that I want in a good areas with good strategies that I know they're going to have a long-term payoff. Now I'm going to just focus on properties that I do not care about at all. And I'm going to just buy them for 100% for cash flow.
Okay. So let's say you went into a new market, and so how do you establish your team in that market? What's the best way to once I get boots in the ground? Hey, I need to find a property manager, I need to find this, I need to find this. What's the best way of finding out in that out of state market?
I've been in Florida for a while. I've been in Florida since 2020. I've bought and sold and wholesaled and have rentals in Florida, and I had to go down there and I had to meet people. I had to shake hands. You can't be 100% absentee and expect everybody to do things your way. You need to put a face on a name.
So everyone says real estate's passive, but not so passive.
Yes. And not so passive when you're establishing yourself in a new market. You cannot be 100% absentee and never see the property unless you're doing owner financing stuff where you don't really get
like
involved.
If you're the note kind of thing.
Yes. So for me, Destin, I went down there, stayed there and met with the agents, met with the contractors, toured the houses, drove around the areas, kind of got a feel of everything. Kind of just knowing the area really helps.
Yeah.
And I'm planning to do that in every new market we go to. We were looking at a 40-50 unit in Arkansas, and I was going to bring a partner. So my partner from California, he took a trip. We went and stayed there, drove around the area, met the property managers, met the agents, met the tenants, and just kind of get a feel of everything. We're doing a self-storage deal in Texas. I went to Texas and I stayed in San Antonio for 3-4 days.
Oh, okay.
So like
brother was stationed there for a little bit.
Yeah. So I really like San Antonio. By the way,
me too.
It's just so much land. So
self-storage. That's for another thing.
Self-storage are popping up everywhere. Everybody got a piece of land. So that's the reason we didn't close on that deal. But anyway, we get to know people, and then after that, we're just kind of build on top of that contractor. Now we can get more estimates and more agents, more property managers, more referrals, and it's numbers game. It takes time. People don't understand sometimes.
Do you give yourself like, hey, this is my goal 90 days, this is my goal for a year, this is my goal for this, and like, hey, I'm just trying to hit this certain amount of cash flow? Like, and you don't like KPIs, but do you like a traction model? Like, hey, I like live my 90-day worlds and trying to hit this amount.
I do that. I have goals that I write and review every single day.
Yeah.
I know exactly how much my portfolio brings in pennies. I know exactly how much my water bills, my everything is going to be, and I track everything very closely, right? And I track my health, physical, mental, spiritual, everything is tracked. I use this app called Evernote. I have a long list. Have
you ever seen that, like the what you call it? It's like O-ring that tracks your everything. Have you seen that?
I've seen that. Yeah, I kind of just personally, don't want to go too advanced in technology. I want the times we're living in right now is never going to happen again. So I'm trying to take the most.
What do you mean by that?
So what I mean, like everybody's could be leveraging AI, chat, whatever.
ChatGPT. Yeah, thing's crazy.
I do not use it. I don't use the robocallers. I don't use all the crazy stuff that's happening in the world. Now, I'm watching closely. I'm studying them. But the times that we are living without AI or without things getting done all by robots or whatever, it's going to be limited. So this is not going to be repeated anymore. So I'm just trying to take my time and enjoy not having it in my life until I have to. Until like I don't, I'm not really interested in super advanced technology. I like things simple. I like to be, living on a farm in Costa Rica.
Like my plan.
Yeah, that's
just let the world go downhill. I'm just gonna be my farm, chilling on the side. Is that kind of what you do? Like, hey, I'm just trying to grind, get my farm, and like let us do this. Is that kind of what you want to do? It sounds like, or
So, my wife Natalie, she's a big believer in that type of lifestyle, a simple lifestyle, and she's been. One of the reasons I'm here today is her, because how she gives me the confidence that I need to keep going forward.
That's good.
And she's very into health and kind of living a pure life everything organic and caring, and having the farm, having the animals, having the having things to care for, not being in a busy society, everything repeating itself, not looking for status, not looking for money, just looking for wealth, freedom. And that's been the main thing in our life, and she's been you know pushing me in that direction. So
how important do you think it is to have a good partner in business? Because if everything's toxic at home, it's gonna be really hard here. And I have this conversation all the time with my friends. Like, that's like the best deal you could possibly do is finding someone that could be your partner.
Females are extremely powerful, and they have powerful as far as like the impact they could have on your life.
Oh yeah.
So choosing the wrong partner could literally destroy your future, not just financially. It could be spiritually. It could be mentally. So it's very important. Luckily, mine, she comes from a very good family, and she's very wise. For me, I'm a little bit more impulsive. What she has is wisdom, and the way she handle things is it's really, and she's been with me like from the beginning.
You. Like, you're really good at this, you're really good at this, but together you're like amazing.
Yes.
Has a lot to do with
and no matter how much money you have or how successful you are, the only thing that could really mess up with a man's head is their wife or spouse or partner, right? So no matter how well you're doing, if you don't have the right partner, you can never focus, because if they're creating mental challenges for you at home, and you're gonna carry those to work, you can never focus and be fully confident because you're constantly worrying about that.
I told my wife, I said, honestly, like, they could take all my real estate, take everything. The only thing I really care about is three things: my wife and my two daughters. Like,
yes.
If I have that, the government can take it all they want. Like, I'm still good. I don't care. I love the games. I love the GAT part. But I said, you can't really take anything from me. I like honestly, I don't care what size house I live. Don't care about any of that stuff. I just want my
that's what's our mindset shift too. We're not worried about status. No, we do not spend crazy money on clothing or anything. We spend money on experiences. We travel a lot. We camp a lot.
Probably like health and stuff.
Yeah, so we go crazy on health and travel, and the things that we care about at home. But the flashy stuff doesn't really excite me.
Yeah.
If I spend money on a car, it's just more about experience than trying to look good or comfort. If I spend money on anything else, it's just going to be more of like kind of what benefits would it bring to my life, not to just, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to look good so I can impress some people that I don't even barely know, right? So
how do you do the balance? I have little young kids. I have two young daughters, and it's like, man, that time's super valuable. Like, how do you balance the work life to the family life? How do you?
This is very important because this has been great help for me. I work 2 to 3 hours a day, tops, right? Now I get calls here and there, I answer. It's not like I disappear for the rest of the day, but I try to have 2 hours of productive work done, right? The rest of the day I'm driving around or spend time with the family, go to the park, go to the beach, whatever I want to do, go to the gym. And the way I was able to do that, I learned a lesson from two people. Number one, Scott Jelinek, local guy, and I really respect him. He told me, hey, at some point I had an office and I had a big business, but every month I had to worry about the office and feeding employees and make sure everybody gets fed, and whatever was left, it was mine. Or with the banks, I had to make sure I pay all the money to the banks and then take care of the tenants, take care of maintenance guy, and whatever was left is mine. So that stress was a lot.
Yeah.
And then another person has a $300 million company, very successful. Said, hey, I run my business on independent contractors because I don't want to have to worry about anything.
How many employees does he have?
0.
Oh wow!
It's all business to business.
So like an e-commerce or like?
No, it's a it's the manufacturer company.
Oh wow!
So the way, well, not really that. I don't know how to explain it. But he does business. The way he does it is he would hire you to do certain type of work, right? And you only get paid based on the result generated. So for example, property manager, I have an option which I could save a lot of money bringing a property manager in house, but I have to manage that person, I have to pay payroll, do all that stuff. Or I can really look around, find a good property manager that gets paid on rent collected. So they do all the taking the calls, the maintenance calls, the leasing, and then the marketing, all that stuff is done by them.
Evictions, all that crap.
Yes. And so I'm not that if you want to do everything yourself, you're a landlord. If you want to have anybody else to do everything else, you're an investor, right? You want to have passive income. So you can try to have a doing everything yourself, changing and fixing and stuff. So what I learned really was have other businesses do the work and design your business like that. So right now my business is designed away. I have a project manager that handles my fix and flip. I have a property manager that handles my portfolio.
So all of
And
them, you have one asset manager that manages all of them, or like they're all
yes,
in the
yeah.
oh, okay.
Well, they have a whole team. They're running a business. I'm not. So they're running business. Somebody answers a call in the office. Somebody goes on the appointment. Somebody lists the property. Somebody does that.
So you have the same property manager that manages the one here, that manages the ones in Arkansas, Mississippi?
No, no,
Okay,
no.
okay.
They I don't have anything on in Arkansas, and the one in Midwest on the contract we're not closed yet, and the one we have in Florida, they're pretty much they just mail the money. The properties are fully remodeled, so
Okay.
I don't have to. There's nothing, so we do self manage that because there's no headaches
Yeah,
with that.
gotcha.
But everything else here, um, is managed by one company that has a big team of people that speak multiple languages. They have calls, and the owner of the company is an investor too, so they understand everything. Bookkeeper is not on payroll. Bookkeeper is independent contractor. What else? What else? All my sales guys, my acquisition manager, everybody's on independent contractor. TC's on is
So
independent
you like
contractor.
giving out 1099s kind of thing?
Yeah. So basically, what it is performance driven payments.
Yeah, I like that.
Instead of payroll, because I'm not a good manager. I'm a salesperson. I'm a closer, so I can sit around. I can't sit behind a desk and manage people.
Yeah.
So what I do is I created expectations from independent contractors that they need. Basically they generate the result, and then we take. We all kind of enjoy the result. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Basically.
nice. So do you have any like once you get all your goals, once you get all that stuff, do you have like a big why, like what you want to do, like what's your purpose, and you feel like a legacy or anything like that?
Yes, obviously, we want to make sure our kids are taken care of. That's a big why. Our families are taken care of. Um, I want to make sure I live a life that I can, in 10 years from now, I can tell a lot of stories. I don't want to be in a cycle where you're so distracted with everything that happens in your life because you're always busy, busy, busy. And you're living a life where like you are following the same pattern, your brain does the same thing, you don't even notice that the only moment, the only time that contains life is right now. And if you not your attention is not on the present moment,
Yeah.
you're not living a life, right? You're just following a pattern in your mind, right? So you can't really tell stories because everything is on repeat. You're in a cycle, you're in a system. So for me is I want to live a life of freedom, maybe travel full time, like beginning of this coming year, 2024, I'm going to be traveling for a month and a half. We're going to camp out in Hawaii. And then after that, we're
That's
going to go
awesome.
to ski in Colorado for like 2-3 weeks. And the way that we travel as adventure, not vacation, taking time off. We actually go do crazy stuff so we can come back and tell stories. So that's
Yeah.
a big why. We want to be able to share experiences with our kids and just tell them, hey, this is what we accomplished. We never gave up, and we create a life, and we designed a life that we didn't have to escape from. We had financial security. We were mentally strong. We were good. And then our health, was well because we took care of everything.
Personal question: do you homeschool your kids? Because I've heard a lot of entrepreneurs is like, I think it was Grant Cardone, but he said that he hated public school for obvious reasons, and private school he was restricted because he could only go with his kids on summer break. So that he'd say, "Oh, I like private school because they can come with it," or not private school, homeschool, so they can come with us. And that's kind of what I've been looking at personally. I was like, hey, I want to get super financially free, so my kids, I hire someone to be the teacher and just go travel the world as a family.
Yeah, so that's a very important thing for us as well, because we don't believe in the education system.
Oh yeah, don't get me started.
They teach you the same thing over and over again, and there's no value. If I was a kid myself, going back, I wanted to learn things that I could enjoy. First of all, and something really big for us is the kid needs to learn, painting and music and riding horses and then running and growing, planting in the backyard or in the farm. Those are very important. So yes, investing in the right teachers to teach them how to ride a horse, how to learn martial arts, whatever they're interested in. There's not going to be, hey, you show up at this time and to this time, this is your homework. That's not going to be happen, because they're only, everybody's their first time experiencing life. You cannot take that away from them saying, hey, this is how you want to live. So we're going to have a open type of schedule.
I feel like the world tries to box, like, oh, you're only limited to this. And it's like, I want to be the opposite. I want to like make my kids know that nothing's impossible.
Yes. And they're going to teach, they're training you and teaching you that you show up 7 a.m. or 8 a.m., 9 a.m., you leave at 5 p.m. You're an asset to the government. You're an asset to the system that cash flows. And they have to train you to make sure they control you. That you kind of, by the time you graduate college, you'll have a few years of fun, and you back into it. I show up.
Yeah, and you got that massive loan that you got to pay off that never goes away.
Yes, and we were talking about this the other day. People they fall into the trap of consumption. Nobody's creating. They're consuming. They're consuming information. They're consuming fast fashion. They're consuming all these different things too, and they put themselves in debt. And they can never escape the system. So we were planning to design a life so we can escape the system. So if we escape, our kids, they're gonna do the same thing. They're gonna live a life that they choose, even as kids. And we're gonna provide this type of experiences for them, and whatever they're passionate about, they're gonna choose and do that on their own time frame. So we're not gonna have them staring at the screen all day. There's just going to be activities, and the only way you can invest in your kid and enjoy that limited time that you have with them before they grow up is you have a financial freedom. If you care about your time and you can manage your time, if you were able to take yourself off from your business or from your basically sources of income and replace it in leveraging other people's time. And
how did your perspective change once you had kids? Because once I had kids, everything changed. It's like, man, the value of time just like, because they have limited times, like the 1 to 4, so much changes. Realized, man, I need to be more financially free, so I can spend more time with them. It just like showed the valuable of time, and honestly how crappy the world is. It just put a lot in perspective.
Yeah. For me, when you have a baby, when you have a kid, it's or anybody that you truly love and care about, I believe there is no type of financial gain can compare to that. So obviously we want to sacrifice something to be able to spend the time with the people that we love. So you either have to sacrifice a lifestyle and the freedom, or your future. You just want to tell yourself, someday I'll maybe get changed to travel after the kids leave the house. Or you can go ahead and have a 3 to 5 years plan. Say, I'm going to put my head down, sacrifice my time, but then I get to spend the rest of my years and fully invested in my kids. So it's different for everybody. But for us, we paid our dues, and right now, money is not does not have any value in our life. What has value is emotional intelligence, that anything that happens in our investments or in our life does not have any impact on our life. What matters the most is the smile that you see on your kid's face, or the time you spend with them, the adventures that you have, the stories you tell them, because they really look up to you, and you get to live your childhood again with them.
Yeah. So what would be your piece of advice for like the average family who's kind of like in a bad situation? They bought a house that's mortgage is crazy, so you have credit payments, daycare is crazy. It's so much burden on like a family. Is there like, what would be your piece of advice? I know it's like almost impossible advice to give, but what would be what would you do if, like, let's say you were in that situation and you didn't set up and you started really late? How would you get out of that rat race as soon as possible? Like, what would be your steps, knowing what you went through, what you know now? How would you do that?
I would start a business.
And the right vehicle is important, because you went through a couple fails and then
you can never
found the one you loved.
Yes, you have to go through the failures. Obviously, everybody knows that you got to fail and learn and get up and keep pushing and be consistent with it. I really think discipline is the ultimate freedom, because if you're a family, you could have some problems. Everybody has problems. It's how you react to those problems. And I learned this from someone that said, hey, the waves, life is like oceans, and the waves are problems. It's never gonna end. It's waves gonna keep coming. It's how strong you get when those waves hit you.
Yeah.
Right. So it's your response to those problems. How much skills do you have? How much financial resources that you have, that you could kind of face those problems. At any stage of your life, you're gonna have those problems. My biggest advice would be to, first of all, create a vision. Right. That we're big on that. Natalie and I, we kind of review our vision. We know exactly what we want, exactly our life is going to look like. And now we're going to put that vision in writing and then break it down to small steps. Now, those small steps, they even get smaller into yearly goals. Then they get quarterly, monthly, daily, and hourly, for example, right? And we, again, the same way I told you, 200 door knocks, $7,000, broken into 199 no's, $35 a no, right?
Yeah.
And we do the same strategy with everything else in our life. 200 units or 150 units, $50,000 in cash flow, $25 million in total portfolio value. So I know exactly what direction we're going. And we know exactly how much our monthly expenses are and how much is our cash flow, so we can be financially free. We know we're going to pay off 10 properties before my birthday in June. I know exactly how many units we're going to buy next year, and we just kind of have plans. And your hard work is really valued. You just need to know the right people, and you need to provide value to them. And you hear this as a cliche from a lot of people, but I've done this. You surround yourself with high value people. Like, I was working with investors as a real estate agent, and I saw those bank statements, and I saw those lifestyles, and I saw the freedom that they had. And I chose to spend a lot of time with them, and I did the work for free, because that was the only way for me to bring value to their life, to their business, for me to basically work for free.
Yeah.
And then by doing it for them and doing it over and over again, and I leveraged that experience and knowledge and was able to invent the wheel for my family and do the same result. I know people worth, hundreds and millions of dollars, and I talk to them and I get advice and I surround myself with them. I know people that are completely financially free, sold their companies for $100 million, and I provide a lot of value. I provide value to my bankers, to my attorneys, to anybody that I do business with. And I go the extra mile, because you don't find a lot of people in the extra mile. Everybody's shooting for the average or something like it's easy to shoot for.
But I think everyone wants it quick too. Like, oh, how can I get rich quick?
Yes.
That's like the everything, but you're saying like, hey, it's a process.
Yes.
So enjoying that process through, and I liked how you broke it down, because a lot of people's like, oh, it's so overwhelming. But when you break it down to like, hey, here's our plan. You make it all about numbers. You can build your plan onto achieving your financial goal, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's a contact sport.
Yeah,
so, our business is a contact sport right now, and everything else is just math. Real estate is math, and then their financial freedom is all math. And kind of, we delayed what do they call it?
Delayed gratification.
Yes, and over the last 3 to 4 years, our business did really, really well, but we always took that money, invested into that 5 years exit plan, right?
Yeah.
So we really didn't take anything. At some point, we had 45 rental properties, and we were living in a townhouse in Great Neck area, but our rent was like $12.50 a month, because we were trying to keep the cost down, so then we can keep buying more rentals. And we really didn't buy a house until we had 45 rentals.
There you go.
And then after that, we didn't buy the car we really wanted until we had like 70 rentals. And then we always kind of put that exit strategy first and invested heavily in that. Went all into our active business, flipping houses, wholesaling houses, and doing everything else, so we can fund or raise the capital, to have the capital to buy investment properties that generate passive income.
I gotcha. So do you have a certain amount of units goals that you want to hit in the next couple of years? Like, hey, I want to hit this. I need, like you mentioned, paying off. So I'd rather just have like 500 paid off properties. I'm good there.
500 paid off properties is a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
It's you can do really well with 500 paid off properties, but it's going to take you a really, really, really long time of a lot of hard work. I don't want to do that. What I want to do is, we just hit our 5 years time frame, so we're kind of taking a step back from purchasing and really focusing on creating or getting the most out of what we have in our hand right now. We're going to buy properties, here and there, but not as aggressively we did over the last 3 years. So in the next 12 months, our goal is to only hit 150, so about maybe another 20 to 30 units. And
that's for what time period?
12 months.
Oh, easy, right?
Yeah, so that's our goal. And our goal is to, the next move again, start paying off more properties and actually start enjoying the cash flow, and just kind of take a step back. We might move to a different state or different country. We might completely go off the grid for like 6-7 months. So really,
Puerto Rico's tax free, I think.
Yeah, I think we might go to Costa Rica.
I've heard really good things about
yes, or we might, just for time being, go to Florida or California, just to kind of live the lifestyle of kind of living in one of those big cities for a little bit, maybe 6 months Miami, 6 months in LA, or like Southern California. Like maybe live in Denver, Colorado for a little bit. We're still making a decision, but 2024 is just going to be really the time to focus on more traveling. But over the next 5 years, I really would like to have more commercial buildings. I really like self-storage. We're working on a really big commercial land in Virginia Beach right now. We're trying to get the plans approved for 10 acres of self-storage.
Oh, okay.
And 2 acres of RV, kind of like open
big
space.
ones, or like the mini storage you see?
No, bigger ones, climate control, 10 acres. So it's not going to be multi-story, because the air rights is owned by the military.
Interesting.
So it's just going to be the ones like you just keep driving down the alley.
I got you. Do you like developments like that, or do you like kind of more like, I want to be the first owner kind of thing?
No, I really don't care about any of that stuff, to be honest with you. I want to focus on more commercial deals, because you can do one and do 7 figures in income just doing one deal.
Yeah, less work.
Instead of doing a lot of residential. Like my goal always was like, I don't want to do 10 deals and make 10K each. I want to do one deal and make 100K because
because it said the same amount of work for small deals, the same amount of work for a big deal.
So now that we're gonna kind of take some time off, we're gonna plan for commercial properties, shopping centers, self-storage. I do not want to do big multifamily as of right now, but I really want to focus on triple net kind of properties where the tenant is responsible for everything. Again, less work, less headache.
Yeah, I got you.
Multi-unit triple net or self-storage facilities where it's like on a subscription every single month, and if they don't pay, you just put the stuff on auction. You can have a management company. We talked to multiple management companies. They will hire the employee, put it there, and they just charge you, but they manage the employee, they collect the payments, they do everything, and you don't have to worry about anything else. And on a triple net leases, you don't have to do anything anyway.
So just to follow up, and then you gotta go, but what does money mean to you? Like, people say, like, okay, money buys happiness, money buys freedom. What does money mean to you, and like what?
Money is something that's supposed to serve you. You do not have to chase money. You have to attract money. And the only way you can attract money is by being the best version of yourself.
I agree.
Your business has to be, the best version of itself. So you actually attracting clients, attracting, money coming to your life. So a lot of people chase it and they're going to always stay on the run. But if you know how to attract it, life is going to be much easier.
Yeah.
You're going to be, mentally in a lot better place too. And just cracking that code is very important. But money or any other object in life is here to serve you. You're not there to serve your car. You're not here to serve your house. You're not here to serve your business. Your business doesn't own you. Money doesn't own you. The government doesn't own you. They're here to serve you. They do try.
Just in everything. I appreciate you coming on.
For sure.
I learned a lot. We can go on this forever, but I know you got some places to be. But I appreciate talking to you. It was really a pleasure to officially meet you.
Same here. Thank you so much for your time.